this basically led me to question my unquestioned right to have the opportunity to own land and have citizenship in Israel. And in fact, I was planning at one stage to go on an all-inclusive holiday to Israel, I think 2 weeks, and it was called the birthright, which is basically a way to teach the young Jew that this land is yours, to teach you about the history or their history of Israel, that this land is yours and it's your right. And as I got older, I used to think, like, how did it make sense that me, as someone perceived as a white British Caucasian secular liberal Westerner, however ethnically European Ashkenazi Jew on my mum's side, from a white British secular family, white British liberal secular family, whose forefathers had been living in Europe for maybe over 1,000 years, have this given birthright to, in many cases, take and settle on, Ahmed's land, for example, or Zainab's, old olive plantation. These people who were born and raised in the Middle East and whose ancestors have been farming that land for over 1,000 years. Whilst the people telling us that we had this right were many that would use the Jewish scripture that they didn't even actually believe in, because a lot of them are atheists, secular atheists. So how can you justify it through a divine scripture? Anyway, this became very problematic for me. And I want to mention that the solution for Palestine, for Palestine, is for the Muslims to return back to the Quran and Sunnah ala fahm as-salaf as-salih, to return back to the Quran and the prophetic narrations, the way that the Prophet Muhammad lived his life, and the way that he taught his companions and the way that they understood how to live their lives, and those who followed them in that. As Imam Malik, one of the great scholars of Islam, he said, the later part of this ummah will not be rectified, the later part of the Muslim society will not be rectified except by that which rectified its earliest part. That which rectified its earliest part. And that was not through Arab nationalism or socialism or communism or the utter illusion of democracy or the tyranny of the majority. It will never be through that. Abadan. It will never work. Has it worked at all? Up until this point, it has not worked. Return back to the Quran and the Sunnah ala fahm as-salaf as-salih. In your actions, in your aqeedah, in your ibadah, in your actions, in your belief, and in the way that you worship Allah and the way that you conduct yourselves with other people. Return back to that.